April 26th, 1717, off the coast of Massachusetts. In absolute darkness, the sea roars with a fury that seems sent from hell itself. A ship fights against the waves. But this is no ordinary ship. It is the Whydah Gally. It is fast. It is armed with 18 cannons, and in its hold, it carries a weight that would sink any other vessel. 4.5 tons of gold and silver. On board, 146 men scream and run, trying to tame the sails. And at the helm, one man, Samuel Bellamy, the richest captain ever to sail under the black flag. He is only 500 meters from the beach, so close he can almost see the lights of the coast, so close to the woman he swore to return to. But the ocean knows nothing of promises of love. That night, the sea swallowed the ship. It swallowed the man, and it swallowed a treasure that today would be worth over $120 million. For 300 years, the world thought it was just a legend, but they were wrong. Today on whatON, we unearth the true story of the Prince of Pirates, the man who conquered the whole world and lost it all for a kiss. To understand why that ship was there that night, we must not look at the gold. We must look at the captain's heart. Samuel Bellamy wasn't born a bloodthirsty monster. In the early 18th century, he was a young English sailor, poor but ambitious, who arrived on the shores of Cape Cod seeking his fortune. There, he met Maria Hallett. Local chronicles say Maria possessed a wild beauty. She was only 15 when her eyes met Sam's. It was an instant love, forbidden and desperate. But there was a problem as old as time itself: money. Maria's parents were prosperous farmers. Sam had nothing but his coat and his dreams. When he asked for Maria's hand, her parents laughed in his face. They threw him out. They told him a man without a fortune did not deserve their daughter. Humiliated, heartbroken, Sam met Maria on the cliffs under the moonlight and made her an oath. He said, "I will return, and when I do, I will not be a simple sailor. I will be the richest man this land has ever seen. I will return a prince for you, and I will put the world at your feet." Maria promised to wait, and Sam Bellamy took to the sea. But honest work was slow, and his patience was short. So, in 1716, Sam made a point of no return. To be a prince, first, he had to become a pirate. He joined the crew of the legendary Benjamin Hornigold. He sailed shoulder to shoulder with the infamous Blackbeard. But Sam was different. While other captains ruled with the whip and terror, Bellamy ruled with democracy. His crew adored him. They called him Black Sam because he refused to wear the white powdered wigs fashionable at the time. Instead, he tied his long black hair with a velvet ribbon. He wore fine coats. He carried 4 pistols in his belt. But his true weapon was his charisma. On his ship, most of the crew were former African slaves Sam had liberated. He gave them guns. He gave them a vote. And he treated them as equals. They called themselves the Men of Robin Hood. His rise was meteoric. In just 1 year, he captured more than 50 ships. But Sam wasn't looking for fame. He was looking for the jackpot. He needed one masterstroke to finally go home. And in February of 1717, he found it. Sailing near the Bahamas, he saw the Whydah Gally. It was a beast, a 300-ton slave ship, fast, brand new, and loaded to the brim with the profits of the slave trade. It was the largest floating bank in the Caribbean. Bellamy chased it for 3 days. It was a game of chess on the open sea. And in the end, without firing a single cannon, the Whydah surrendered. When Sam opened the holds, the shine blinded him. There were bags of gold, silver, ivory, and precious jewels. By today's calculations, Sam Bellamy held a fortune of $120 million in his hands. According to Forbes magazine, this officially makes him the richest pirate in recorded history. He had the gold. He had the ship. He was the prince he promised to be. Only one thing was missing: Maria. Sam ordered the ship north, towards Cape Cod. The crew was nervous. Sailing north at that time of year was suicide, but they trusted their captain. They were going to retire. They were going to be kings. They reached the coast of Massachusetts on April 26th. Legend says Maria Hallett, pregnant and shunned by the town, spent her days watching the horizon. That afternoon, the air turned heavy. The sky turned a sickly purple. A nor'easter, a storm capable of ripping trees from their roots, hit the coast without warning. The Whydah was tossed like a toy. The wind snapped the masts. Waves of 30 feet swept the deck. Sam Bellamy tried to maneuver. He tried to pull the ship out of the trap. He was so close to the shore. Locals say they could hear the men screaming over the wind. But the weight of the treasure was his doom. The ship, too heavy with gold, struck a sandbar. The impact cracked the hull in half. The Whydah capsized. The cannons fell onto the sailors. The gold coins rained down to the bottom of the sea, dragging with them the men trying to save them. Of 146 souls, only 2 reached the beach alive. Samuel Bellamy, the prince of pirates, disappeared into the foam. He died meters away from the woman he loved, with the promise fulfilled in his cargo hold, but unable to deliver it. For nearly 300 years, the Whydah became a ghost story. Treasure hunters searched for decades, but the Atlantic sand is an expert at keeping secrets. Until Barry Clifford came along. In 1984, Clifford, a diver who grew up hearing the legends of Black Sam, decided to look where no one else was looking. Using old maps and modern technology, he detected an anomaly under 5 meters of solid sand. He went down. And amidst the darkness of the seafloor, he saw something. A bell. He wiped away centuries of rust with his glove and read the inscription that would confirm history. The Whydah Gally, 1716. They had found the ship. It is, to this day, the only 100% authenticated pirate treasure ever recovered. They pulled up thousands of coins. They pulled up cannons. They pulled up African jewelry. But the most chilling find was not the gold. Among the wreckage, divers found a silk pistol with a decorative ribbon, and a fine leather shoe, elegant, the size of a tall man. They were the clothes of a nobleman. They were the clothes Sam Bellamy had put on that night to walk ashore and present himself to Maria. The story of Samuel Bellamy leaves us a lesson that shines brighter than any gold coin. Ambition led him to conquer the ocean, but nature reminded him who is truly in control. Bellamy had it all: wealth, power, respect, and love. And he lost it all with a change of wind. They say that on stormy nights in Cape Cod, you can still see a woman walking the cliffs, waiting for a prince who never arrived. The Whydah treasure is in a museum today. You can go see it. But when you look at those coins, remember that they are not trophies of greed. They are the remains of a promise of love that sank into the sea. Here at whatON, we believe true wealth is not what you keep in a vault, but the stories you leave behind. If this story captured you, subscribe and hit the bell. Next week, we dive back into the unknown. I am the voice of whatON. Until the next tide.